Have to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. Now, I am Poison Jaya and I help men literally do this. We get them to 10% body fat and I produce elite level transformations week in, week out. These are all the guys that I've transformed. And as you can see with all of them, we've lost fat and built muscle. These are the main two, however, that you can see the most muscle built and the most fat lost. So this is called a body recomposition, and we're going to talk about how you can do this for yourself. Now, the first setup that you always want to do with any transformation is we're going to assess your timeline. This is where we need to estimate your body fat percentage and scale weight. Now, you may be thinking to estimate your body fat percentage, you can use the gym, you can use a DEXA scan. Those are very inaccurate. The best way I estimate body fat percentage with my own clients when they come to me is we tell them to take a photo of your physique, which you will do front, side, and back. And then you're going to do this in good lighting without flexing, of course. And you're going to compare yourself to a physique photo chart online that has body fat percentages. So if you're a male, do it with males. If you're a woman, do it with women. And you're going to estimate yourself very harshly. So if you think you're about like 24, 23%, add 2% to that number. So therefore you're 25%. Now, we're also going to get your scale weight. So your most recent scale weight this morning or yesterday, use that. And we will calculate your lean body mass. Now, this will give us a target scale weight that we need to hit and reach in order to be 10% body fat, or 12% body fat, your desired body fat percentage level, which will really show how much muscle you have and you have that set physique like all these guys have. So I did a little example. Let's say you're 25% and you're 90 kg. Your lean muscle, lean body mass, you're going to use the formula literally right below. So 90 minus 90.025. So 0.25, that's your body fat percentage. You will get a number and then you subtract 90 minus from that number and you'll get 67.5. And then that's your lean body mass. And then you literally plus 10%, or which is the desired body fat percentage you want to get to, or if it's 12%, 12%, 8%, etc. And that will be 74.25. And then all you do, you subtract 90 kg, your actual scale weight, from the target scale weight you need to reach to. So therefore, you need to lose about 15.75 or 16 kg to round it up. And therefore, we know how long it'll take, 16 to 15 weeks, because we're going to aim to lose 1% of our scale weight per week. So this is the rate of loss, 0.7 to 1 kg. So this may sound confusing. You may want to watch this video over this section a bit. But once you have your timeline, this will give a deadline for your goal. And this will give you a sense of urgency. You know, when you got assignments when you was younger, you are more likely to do it with a deadline. So this is the same way setting up with your physique transformation, because you have to understand that this is a lifestyle and you're not just trying to lose fat. If you said to yourself, yeah, I'm going to try to lose fat, you're already halfway fucked it, because mentally you're not locked in. But if you say, no, this is the exact timeline I'm going to get to, this is what I need to do every single day, which we'll talk about nutrition, training, etc., then you're more likely to stay on plan, stay prepared, and you're overall just more serious, guys. And so this is like literally how I get my transformations. For example, I can say this took 16 weeks bang on, and this took 24 weeks bang on. We have a app which well, in later videos I'll talk about the transformations and we go through week on week out what changes we actually did. But just for this video, we're talking about how we can actually lose fat and gain muscle for you. Now let's talk about nutrition. This is very, very gold, and please listen up. Most people, when they start a cut, they start their calories so low, and this is why they don't build any muscle. They end up, the term skinny fat, skinny, because basically they will thrash their calories so low, probably not having carbs, which carbs is your main source of energy, fuel for your workouts, and so their gym full of performance is shit. The biggest reason you will build muscle is due to your gym flow performance. So therefore, we want to prioritize as much food as possible in the form of carbohydrates. And so therefore, we want to keep food as high as long as possible. So this is why I advocate a high calorie, high carb diet for as long as possible. And this will allow you to train as hard as possible in the gym to actually beat that load, get that higher rep from last week, and that's how you'll build muscle, guys. So therefore, to find your maintenance, you are going to go to an online calorie calculator online. Any will do. So you will be able to input your weight, your height, which is not really needed, and your activity levels. That will give you your maintenance calories. I want you to sit 200 calories below this number, literally 200 calories. And you may be thinking, oh, how am I going to lose 1 kg a week with 200 calories? Remember, we have a deficit through output as well, which I'll talk about. But yeah, a small calorie deficit will help you serve gym floor performance and better energy levels. So that means you can stay more adherent to the whole process, to the whole diet. Remember, if you're about like 25% body fat, you're going to be dieting for minimum like 12 weeks, 3 months. So you want to be as conservative as possible. Like going like thrashing your calories doesn't always mean faster. You might shoot yourself in the back foot and then end up crash dieting, guys. So this is a 2,000 calorie meal plan, which obviously the calories will be adjusted to your own input, to your own maintenance. It might be 2.6, it might be 2.3, just adjust the portion sizes. But the meals itself, you may be thinking, oh my god, 6 meals is a whole lot of food. Well, yeah, this is called food composition. This is when the quality of better foods, whole foods to be specific, will help you stay adherent to your diet, because one, you'll feel more fuller because you have more macros, in terms of you've got a lot more fiber due to, more carbohydrates. You have more protein, which slows digestion, most satiating macro. As well as you've got a healthy amount of fats, which will help with hormone production and help your overall energy levels. So you eat a good amount of food that is very easy to meal prep. And you'll realize that these foods, rice, oats, eggs, potatoes, yogurt, they're not very that appealing. They're not very that fancy. This is what we want. Because when you have like a tasty food, especially at a restaurant, you want more of it. That's called palatability. So this meal plan is tasty, but it's not that tasty. So therefore, it's just in the equilibrium, the middle line of that. You don't want to eat more of it, which is what we want on a dieting phase, and this will enable you to eat this every single day, and literally stay on track. Because if we gave you a high palatable diet plan, which most people, they will fit, they won't stick to a meal plan. They will fit calories under their macros, eating whatever they want. They're just more likely to eat off plan because they want to eat more of it, guys. And then therefore, that's when they snack. That's when they feel hungry even more, and a whole lot of reasons. Whereas if we give you a meal plan, you're not really tracking calories. All you're doing is weighing the foods because you're having the same foods every day. If you're a busy adult, which you probably are, the last thing you want to do is walk in the door and be like, oh, what should I have? I have to create this. Oh, let me search a high protein, low calorie diet. Ninja ice cream or whatever that bullshit is. But if you have a meal plan, the meal preps is already there in your fridge. You have less decision fatigue, and you're just regulating the same hunger signals most of the time. So look, just stick to something boring because the boring basics works. Like the bodybuilder diet works. You could add your changes. Like if you really don't like oats, you could just have eggs with sourdough toast and avocado. That's fine. But yeah, meal one, this is what I rank to get shredded. And my guys, oats, eggs, berries. Oats high in fiber, so it's going to keep you satiated for a while because it digests nice and slowly. Eggs, high, good source of protein. It's a fatty source, which means it has more calories because it's a fatty source of protein, but it's also it's got healthy cholesterol, as well as obviously fats for that hormone production. And berries, good amount of antioxidants, and again lots of fiber, so it's going to pack up that meal. So not only is going to take a while to eat it, it also looks bigger on your plate. So psychologically, you're already winning. Meal two is basmati rice. This is raw weights, by the way. Chicken breast, mixed veg. Rice sits well with most people, digests pretty quickly. 150 grams of chicken breast. This is a lean source of protein, so therefore you're getting the most amount of calories you're getting the most amount of chicken on your plate, but it comes at the lowest amount of calories. And 100 grams of mixed veg, that can consist of your kale, cucumbers, spinaches, etc. So very easy, cheap meal to buy, guys. Meal three is your pre-workout, so you have this 30 minutes before your session. So 1 apple, banana, 50 grams of berries. This is fast digesting carbohydrates, which you want to prioritize. So it's high on the glycemic index, which basically means it digests fast, so you can get it. So you get the energy ASAP, Rocky guys. You know, but if you have like an hour to train before, you can have something that will digest a lot more slower. So 30 grams of oats, 20 grams of raisins. You know, and then meal four, you can have a post-workout shake, 30 grams of whey, 200 meters of almond milk, or if you want to save calories, you can replace almond milk with water. That's what I do. I just like the taste of water. And then meal five, basically the same as lunch, but we swap rice with white potato, just to give a bit more volume. And when you're in the back end of your dieting phase, so that be 12 week 13, when you're trying to get the last layer of 3 to 4 kg of fat, you can literally swap the rice with potatoes, because you're gonna, the good thing about this is that it comes at a low cost of calories, and it will fill you up for more. It's more satiating than rice. It digests pretty quickly, you know. So white potato is a slow digesting carb. Basmati rice is it's a higher on the glycemic index, so fast digesting carb. So I'm just educating so you understand the different carbohydrate sources. And then the last meal is 0% fat yogurt, berries, dark chocolate. So 0% fat yogurt, high in protein, 0%, comes at a low cost of calories and it fills you up. This is what I have, and then 100 grams of berries as well, and 30 grams of dark chocolate for that little sour free. I find that last meal literally removes any cravings. And when I do crave something, guys, you can just drink water. Make sure you're drinking like 3 to 4 liters of water a day, as well as you can drink 0 calorie sweeteners as well, like Diet Coke, etc. If you really struggle with cravings, but if you have this meal plan every day, you'll find the cravings will become less, because you're eating proper foods, you know, that your ancestors ate, whole foods born from the ground, not those processed shit, guys. So stick to that meal plan, or you can adjust certain foods if you have allergies, etc. But yeah, a lot of meals, but you want to eat as much as possible. I can't remember. So therefore, again, you got to find your protein goal. If you were wondering, you can literally just set double your body weight. So if you're 70 kg, 140 grams, fats can be 0.3, 0.6 per half a kilo of your body weight, or per pound. Or it could be like 20% of the overall calorie target. And then fats can be carbohydrates for the rest, guys. But yeah, if you have any questions on that and you want me to set up your own macros, just give me a text and I'll set it up for you. Cool. The next thing we're going to be programming to actually lose fat. Remember, there's 2 deficits. One from food. We've got a small deficit, 200 calories below our maintenance. I also forgot to say, yeah, on your non-training days, you're going to be skipping pre-workout. You're not going to have pre-workout. So this meal is about like 250 calories. So just bear that in mind. Every day you'll be doing the 10k steps every day and 20 minutes of the incline treadmill, heart rate 120 to 130. People think, oh, to lose fat, I need to do fancy cardio routines. No, you flipping don't. I mean, to be fair, you can do a cardio little routine. I know people like to change out the speeds under that 20 minutes, but the main thing is get your heart rate between 120 to 130. That is the optimal fat burning zone, and that allows you to do that every single day. Steps will help increase NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's low impact, low fatigue, so you can do it every day. I know winter time's approaching, so you could get like a walking mat, which will be easier if it is really cold outside. But yeah, incline treadmill cardio, 20 minutes every single day. You want to start that from, in the start of your dieting phase. And then as you do get fitter, like halfway through, and it's a bit easier, it's a bit harder to get your heart rate up, because you will become fitter on this cut. You can progressively overload the treadmill to a elliptical cross trainer, and then from the elliptical cross trainer, you can do that in a stairmaster. So probably the last month or couple months or so, as the highest form of cardio, which really raises the different raises or cardio machines. Stairmaster will elevate your heart rate the fastest, to make that sense. So you can target your heart rate between 130 to 140. So that's the main thing when you do your cardio. So yes, on rest days, please do it. That will help drive the deficit. The last thing, the next thing we're going to reprogram is training. This is really important. I'm going to show you the exercises on the app that you could use, so you can watch, take a screenshot and use them. But this is very important. So if you have 3 days, you can go full body twice a week, and then shoulder and arms 4 days. So like if you're a complete beginner, do 3 days. If you're intermediate, so 1.5 to 2 years in the gym, 4 days. But if you've been training more than 2 years, do 5 days. So the main thing before we even show the split is if you don't have these three things covered: tempo, range of motion, arm path, weight, intensity, like forget about building muscle, bro. Yeah, it's not what exercise you do, it's about how you train. So tempo, you always want to be focusing. Let me show you a clip as well, actually. So the first fact we want with all on our list is tempo. So tempo just means how fast you're lifting the weight, specifically on the way down. We always want a 3 second eccentric. So don't milk it to 3 seconds. Just control the way down. And then you want to pause 1 second at the bottom and 1 second at the top. Now with the chest exercise, you will get the most money in the bottom position, especially with when you're doing a flat dumbbell press because it's the most hardest, or a incline chest press machine. So therefore, if we want to drive mechanical tension, which is the main factor of hypertrophy, we want to place as much stress on our muscle, on our fibers as much as possible. So therefore, holding an extra second at the bottom like here, this will allow to stimulate as much tension, mechanical tension as possible. So look, I'm not pissing, like I'm not going 3 seconds all the way down. I'm just controlling the negative. 1 second pause, drive it back up. And then the next thing is range of motion / arm path rate. Are you going deep enough? Guys, if you're not going deep enough, yeah, and you're not stretching the muscle fiber, then you're not going to really stimulate as much mechanical tension as you want, So go deep enough. Like with the exercise, like lat pull down, make sure you're bringing your elbows to your hip. Don't just stop halfway. There's no point cheating your reps or ego lifting. You're not doing yourself no favors, especially if you have no muscle. And the arm pathway, you just want to think of bringing the origin and insertion together. So where does the muscle start? Where does it end? So for example, the chest, a bit of anatomy. The chest originates on the midline, sternum of your body right here, and then it attaches onto your humerus upper arm, this muscle here. So therefore, I'm not just focusing on pressing up, focus on bringing them together. Yeah, origin, so upper arm to your sternum. So if I think of, I will drive my elbows slightly inclined, put it with that 35 degrees into my body, and just focus on driving my upper arm across my chest. And you're going to see what that did with my last rep in terms of how I got the last rep, because I'm just focused on horizontal adduction, the movement of how the chest works, guys. So if you can apply that with all your exercises, when you do it like here, look, I'm just focused on driving my upper arm across my chest. Yeah, that is how you will get the last rep with most of the exercises, of course. And then the last factor is intensity. The contraction should take 3 to 5 seconds on the way up, or you physically can't do the rep no more, like this. So if you really want to build muscle, incorporate the two factors, so tempo, range of motion / arm pathway, and most importantly, train to failure, train to intensity. How to measure that? Like I said, the concentric part should take no longer than minimum 3 seconds. Yeah, you need to be putting a stupid face. And then, of course, log what you did last week. Did you get more rep or more load? Yeah. Now, because you're a beginner, if you're a beginner, you'll be doing 3 straight sets of 8 to 12, rest 2 minutes. Again, I will show you the split that we use as well. For example, if you're a beginner, 3-day split, you can do straight sets 8 to 12 and then rest 2 minutes. Again, every muscle group, you're hitting it twice. There's about 10 sets per muscle, which is what we want. So you can take a little screenshot of the exercises here. Now, if you're a 4-day split, you can do full body push, full body pull. And because you're intermediate, so over 1.5 years, you can actually train 1 top set, 2 backward sets. This will distribute your training intensity and will force you to train harder. Remember what I said, the last factor is we need to train as hard as possible and beat what we did last week. So therefore, if we're able to manage the fatigue ratio, we can do this by concentrating our training effort. 1 top set, 6 to 10, 2-minute rest, and then back off. Drop the set by 20% with high rep range, 12 to 15, which will match the fatigue you accumulated from the first set. Do you see what I'm saying? And then for your isolation exercises, you can have slightly higher rep range, 8 to 12 for your top sets, so that's 6 to 10, and then 2 backup sets, 12 to 15. So that's how you would do it with most of the exercises here: full body push, full body pull, and then your 5-day split. Again, if you're 2 years, it can be again the same training split: push, pull, leg, chest, and back, delts, and arms. Again, you're running with 1 top set, 2 backup sets. So here will be the exercises. Remember, every exercise works. It's about how you train. But I promise you guys, if you apply that factor in terms of tempo, range of motion, arm pathway, intensity, you will be building muscle. Remember, on your cart, yes, you want to be losing fat per week, but you need to be training fucking hard, yeah, if you want to build muscle. And that's what my clients did as well. Now, the last factor before we end the video is the rate of loss. Now, how can we actually measure progress to be making sure we're going to get to 10% body fat with muscle tissue? The rate of loss, which is a bit faster, but it's 1% of your scale weight, 0.7 to 1 kg per week. So you want to be logging your morning weight every day, first thing in the morning. Don't do it in the gym, don't do it in the evening. You want to keep everything standardized. Yeah, so track all data. You will get a weekly average. So if you hit 0.8, perfect, don't change nothing. You know, if not, let's say you ate dinner with everything, you ate the same meal, you did the same cardio, then make a change. Increase cardio first, because remember when I said to nutrition, most people will slash their calories. They'll freak out when you don't drop weight. Yeah, just you want to keep food as high as long as possible to support gym flow performance. This is called body recomposition. This isn't weight loss for women, for men. Yeah, this is fat loss, body fat. And this is what I specialize in. So keep food as high as long as possible and increase cardio by 10 minutes. So let's say you're doing 20 minutes, now you're doing 30 minutes on the incline treadmill, and keep rinsing and repeating. Assess that data. Did you lose 0.7 to 1 kg with that added change? If you did, keep everything the same. If not, make a change to cardio again, you know, if you have the time. And until you don't have the time, because I know people are probably busy, let's say 40 minutes, then you can make a change from food, but bring food down by 200 calories, one change at a time, remember, and you're going to pull it from the forms of fats. Fats hold the most calories per gram, so you're going to be doing your dark chocolate, remember. And then when fats is out the window, you have no more fats, then you can pull from carbs away from your workout. For example, you could reduce your get bowl or get that rid completely. And then just alternate between the two. Cardio increase, food decrease until you get to 10% body fat, guys. That's what I do with my clients, and that's how we achieve successfully 10% elite transformations without them crash dieting, guys. So look, if you want me to do this for you, there's a link on bio to book a call with me where we will discuss how to set you up and literally get you sorted as soon as possible. So hopefully this video you found this of value. If you did, please subscribe, because I'm going to be talking about more transformations in depth, as well as a whole lot of more value. And I produce elite level transformations week on week. See you guys in the next